Imagine carrying hundreds of tiny parasites on your body every single day. Hidden beneath thick hair and rough skin, blood-feeding ticks quietly attach themselves. This is the daily reality for many African warthogs. Ticks. At first glance, they seem harmless. But look closer. Each tick is a patient parasite. Injects chemicals that reduce pain and prevent blood from clotting. Then slowly fills its body with blood until it becomes many times larger. A single warthog can have hundreds of them at once. Around the ears, across the neck, along the shoulders, even beneath the tail. Every movement becomes slightly more uncomfortable. Every bite increases irritation. Every day creates new opportunities for infection. Nature, however, has developed an extraordinary solution. High above the African grasslands, a small bird watches carefully.
It is not searching for seeds. It is not hunting insects in the air.
Instead, it is searching for something much more valuable: parasites. As the bird lands gently on the warthog's back, something remarkable happens. It understands that the tiny bird has come to help. With incredible precision, the oxpecker begins inspecting every inch of the animal's body. Its sharp eyes search through coarse hair. Its narrow beak reaches into places larger animals cannot. Every tiny movement has a purpose. Then, the first tick is found. Carefully, the bird grips it. With a smooth pull, the parasite releases its hold. Within seconds, another tick disappears, then another, and another. What looks simple is actually the result of millions of years of evolution. It knows exactly where to search: behind the ears, along the neck. The warthog continues standing quietly. Its breathing slows, its ears flick gently. Across the African savannah today, this Cape buffalo is not facing a lion. Its most dangerous enemy is smaller than a grain of rice. Hundreds of ticks cover it. They gather around the ears, the bases of the horns, the neck, and the shoulders. Around its eyes and nostrils, swarms of flies buzz constantly, making every moment unbearable. It rubs against rough tree trunks, hoping the parasites will finally let go. Then, unexpectedly, the buffalo changes its strategy. It slowly walks toward the river. As the cool water rises over its legs and reaches its belly, movement begins. At first, only a few small fish appear. Within seconds, a few become dozens. Together they move like a living carpet. Several fish gather, repeatedly pecking at parasites. One by one, red-billed oxpeckers land on the buffalo. Some perch on its horns. Others settle on its shoulders before moving toward the areas with the heaviest infestations. Around its eyes and nostrils, Swarms of flies buzz constantly, making every moment unbearable. Under the brutal African sun, even the biggest land animal can be pushed to the edge. A massive African elephant moves across the dry savanna, its ears flapping, its skin coated in dust. Each step pressing deep into the earth. From a distance, it looks untouchable, a living tank. A giant built from muscle, bone, and raw power. But today, the real threat is almost invisible: ticks. They crawl into the deep folds of the elephant's skin, around the ears, behind the legs. Under the belly, along the neck, in all the places even a powerful trunk cannot fully reach. And once they lock on, they do not let go. These tiny parasites feed on its blood. One tick is annoying. Hundreds become torture. They itch, they irritate, and they can carry disease. For an animal this huge, the problem is not strength, it is access.
The elephant swings its trunk across its body, trying to scrape them away.
It slaps its ears and shifts its weight, but the ticks stay hidden in the folds. The elephant presses its shoulder into the bark and grinds back and forth. Branches shake, dust falls. The tree creaks under the pressure. For a moment, it works, and rolls its enormous body across the ground. A thick cloud of dust rises around it. The dust helps dry up the ticks, irritate them, and make it harder to stay attached. It also covers the elephant's skin like rough, natural armor. Messy, but absolutely smart. And the elephant knows exactly where it needs to go. Water, water. With slow, heavy steps, it heads toward the river. Birds lift from the grass. When the giant moves with purpose, the whole savanna notices. It sucks water into its trunk and sprays it across its back. Now the real cleaning begins. Almost immediately, small fish move in. They dart around its feet, legs, and skin folds, picking at parasites. To the fish, the elephant is a massive buffet. To the elephant, they are cleanup. No fight, no drama. Just a perfect trade. Food for relief. The fish get an easy meal, and the elephant gets relief from bloodsuckers. That is nature's teamwork at its finest. Finally, the giant is at peace. This baby zebra is covered in over 200 ticks. It is a heavy burden. It can barely walk without wincing. It cannot reach a single one of them. But in the next few seconds, something lands on its back and everything changes. This is a newborn zebra, only a few days old. Its stripes are brown. Not yet the sharp black and white of an adult. Adaptation is its primary focus. In this vast landscape, every movement is observed by the environment and those within it. Ticks cluster around the ears, the eyes, and the soft skin under the belly. Estimates suggest hundreds of these tiny organisms can gather at once, each finding a place on the surface. This baby zebra is covered in over 200 ticks. It is a heavy burden. Left unchecked, this infestation causes anemia, skin infection, and a foal that tires. Right when speed can mean life or death. It cannot use its hooves. It cannot use its teeth. There are places it will never clean alone. That is where the oxpecker comes in. This bird migrates with the herd. It lands without hesitation, claws gripping the hide, and gets to work immediately. Watch the beak. It is not random. It is precise, almost surgical. Moving through the coat strand by strand, searching every fold of skin. One by one, the ticks disappear. The oxpecker works the ears first. Then down along the spine, going exactly where the infestation is worst. For the bird, this is not charity. Each tick is a small meal. At times, they attend to specific marks on the skin, seeking nourishment through this natural interaction. Within minutes, the difference is visible. The zebra stops flinching and shaking. The oxpecker gets a full stomach. The zebra gets its body back. But there is one thing this armored giant cannot do, and that is scratch its own back. Enter the oxpecker, a small bird with a sharp orange beak and absolutely no shame. It hops onto the rhino's back like it pays rent there. In a way, it does. Hundreds of tiny ticks hidden in the folds of their skin, places too stiff to reach. Behind the ears, along the neck, deep in the wrinkles of the shoulder. Perfect hiding places. Parasites feeding quietly on blood the rhino never even notices is missing. This is the oxpecker. It walks across the rhino's body like an inspector checks a building, corner by corner. Here is the twist. Oxpeckers do not stop at ticks. They pick at open wounds. They feed on blood and return to the same tender spots on an animal's skin. Imagine someone scratching that itch you could never reach, only to realize they enjoy it. This is why scientists no longer describe this relationship as a simple friendship. It varies. Depending on the situation, it can lean toward mutualism or slide toward parasitism. The rhino does not analyze any of this. It simply reacts to what it feels. Their eyesight is sharper than a rhino's. The moment danger approaches, they let out a call. So which is it? Cleaner or parasite? Helper or opportunist? Bodyguard or freeloader? The answer varies. The oxpecker can be all of these things. Nature does not sort into simple categories. It only cares about what works well enough to continue. This balance is under pressure. Fewer rhinos means an entire support system quietly unraveling. A relationship shaped over millions of years, slowly running out of room to exist. Conservation efforts are now trying to protect them. Anti-poaching patrols guard rhino populations. Researchers track how the loss ripples down to smaller species. It is protecting an entire web of lives. As the sun drops, the rhino walks. Nature finds a way to balance the scales. The rhino and bird continue their dance. On the harsh African plains, a heavily armored honey badger faces an enemy its brute strength cannot defeat. A severe tick infestation. It rolls quietly in the dust, seeking a moment of comfort from the persistent itch. Drawn not by sympathy, but by the prospect of a meal, a pack of opportunistic banded mongooses watches. These small, sharp-eyed foragers cautiously approach the notoriously aggressive predator, calculating the risk. In the wild, tolerance is born out of necessity. The badger suppresses its aggressive instincts. As the irritated badger paces the dry earth, the mongooses trail closely behind, scanning for parasites. A swollen tick drops to the dirt, and a mongoose immediately snatches it up, driven by its instinct. The strange procession continues along the trail, an alliance formed not by friendship, but by survival. Suddenly, the badger drops and vigorously shakes its body, a calculated move to shed the pests. Dozens of fat ticks scatter across the baked clay, sparking a frenzied feeding response from the scavengers. Seeking further relief, the tired honey badger makes its way to a sturdy acacia tree. It grinds its heavily infested skin against the coarse bark, dislodging several fat, swollen ticks. The ticks tumble helplessly to the arid ground, watched closely by the ever-vigilant mongooses. The mongooses, ever watchful and fiercely pragmatic, immediately emerge from the scrub to capitalize. They race toward the fallen bounty, their movements quick and purposeful, turning struggle into opportunity. The mongooses eagerly share the large ticks, happily enjoying their little feast in the peaceful rhythm of nature. Realizing the benefit of these diligent neighbors, the badger eventually stops moving, inviting the pack. The mongooses enthusiastically climb onto the thick fur, their swift and precise bites plucking the parasites. For the honey badger, the sensation of having the irritating pests removed brings a profound sense of relief. It lies down comfortably in the warm dust, completely relaxing its muscles as the cleaning crew works. The tiny foragers meticulously part the dense coat, expertly finding and consuming even the hidden ticks. Far from resisting, the badger welcomes the attention, turning its body to grant full access. This interaction highlights a fascinating natural arrangement, where the badger trades pests for peace.
Resting with half-closed eyes, the giant thoroughly enjoys the soothing process, finding comfort in harmony.
The mongoose's sharp claws and nimble fingers work like precision tools, gently pulling away parasites. The small scavengers are entirely focused, ensuring no part of the badger's fur is left unchecked. What might look like a frantic scramble is actually a soothing massage for the honey badger. Completely relaxed, the badger stretches out in the sun, showing no signs of its usual aggression. Satisfied with their catch, the mongoose family quickly disperses into the long grass, their bellies full. With the intolerable itching finally gone, the honey badger rises to its feet, renewed and ready. But the African savanna is full of hidden threats, and a sudden shift in the wind brings danger. A male lion appears on the horizon, a lethal danger that even the fearless badger would avoid. Repaying the favor, the vigilant mongooses act as sentinels, sounding sharp alarm calls to warn the badger. The badger retreats quickly, while the opportunistic mongooses move on to find their next client. A large warthog, also seeking relief from pesky ticks, becomes the next partner in this alliance. This extraordinary alliance proves that in nature, mutual benefit creates a perfect balance for survival. In the sweltering savanna, the river is a vital sanctuary for the heavy-set hippopotamus. But even giants have their irritations. Swollen ticks plague the hippo's tough hide. To combat this, the hippo relies on a winged ally, the red-billed oxpecker.
But even giants have their irritations.
These birds provide a mobile spa service. Prying loose stubborn parasites. It's an easy feast for the oxpecker and sweet relief for the hippo. Despite sharing the river with predators like the Nile crocodile, the bird finds a safe haven atop its massive, 3-ton host.
Keep infections at bay. But harmony isn't guaranteed. Nearby baboons are far less receptive to these bold birds.
And when a primate gets too close to the water, the hippo's formidable jaws send a clear warning. Through cooperation on strict boundaries, these creatures navigate their shared world. The relentless irritation of the parasites drives the old bull to distraction. Driven by parasites, the giraffe finds temporary relief by rubbing against these large stones. Battered by parasites, the giraffe finds little shade, but relief is approaching on the wing. Exhausted, the bull tolerates the oxpeckers, who provide a vital cleaning service for a meal. Though the giraffe flicks its ear, the birds hold fast, removing unreachable parasites. The red-billed oxpecker, a tiny specialist, meticulously cleans the giant giraffe. The giraffe accepts the oxpeckers, a classic example of mutualism where both species benefit.
With a renewed stride and cleaner coat, the giraffe moves gracefully across the savannah. As the giraffe descends the ridge, the oxpeckers begin their diligent work on the savannah. A partnership forged by survival, the oxpeckers keep the giraffe free of irritating parasites. Having found relief, the giraffe moves calmly towards the waterhole, attended by faithful oxpeckers. This spectacular aerial view reveals an ecosystem where every creature plays a vital role. This wildebeest is part of the greatest migration on Earth, and he is covered in ticks. They cluster in his shaggy mane, deep in his ears, and near his eyes. He walks over 1,000 miles each year, and the parasites travel every mile with him. He is not alone. On his back rides a small crew that never leaves. A single bird pulls a swollen tick free, and the giant herd walks on without stopping. Their whole survival depends on one thing above all: the strength to keep moving. An animal that weakens falls behind, and an animal behind the herd does not last. So anything that drains their strength is not just an irritation, it is a death sentence. And that is exactly what these tiny parasites do, slowly, quietly, mile after mile. With 1 million animals walking past, it never has to wait very long at all. It grabs hold, crawls into the thickest hair, and bites into skin he cannot feel. Then it feeds, swelling to many times its size, and it is never alone for long. A wildebeest can carry hundreds, hidden in his mane, his ears, and his flanks. And he cannot fight back. His horns are curved for battling rivals, not for grooming. His neck is thick and stiff. He cannot turn far enough to reach his own back. He cannot reach his ears. He cannot reach his eyes. He cannot reach his shaggy mane. He rubs until a handful of ticks fall loose. A handful out of hundreds. So he drops into the dust and rolls, coating his whole body in fine powder. For those places, this 1,000-pound runner needs help, and help is already riding along. They scramble across his hide, gripping his coarse hair, hunting for anything buried there. One by one they disappear, swallowed whole, plucked from places he could never reach. A single bird could work all day and barely clear one flank of one animal. The African savannah bakes under a relentless sun. A solitary giant wanders the dry plains. This is the common eland, the largest of all African antelopes. But today, this magnificent bull carries a heavy burden, draining his energy. He moves slowly, clearly exhausted by the sheer number of these relentless hitchhikers. Not far away, a specialized cleaning crew is on patrol. A flock of red-billed oxpeckers gathers on the dusty earth. These small, agile birds have evolved a highly specific dietary niche. They feed almost exclusively on the external parasites of large mammals. Seeking relief, the weary eland approaches a small, leafless thorn bush. He stops, his heavy head lowered. The burden of the parasites is immense. Slowly, he folds his front legs and lowers his massive frame to the ground, seeking a moment of rest in the unforgiving heat. The oxpeckers sense an opportunity. Taking to the air in a flurry of wings, the flock maneuvers toward the resting giant. They move with coordinated precision, drawn to the promise of a substantial meal. One by one, they touch down on the eland's broad back. Their sharp claws grip the coarse hair with ease. The eland remains perfectly still, accepting their arrival. He knows these birds are not a threat, but a much-needed salvation. The camel's face, neck, and belly were covered with hard ticks. Dense, dark clusters surrounded the eyes, packed the folds beneath the jaw. The irritation had become impossible to ignore as it pressed its neck. Dry bark scraped through the coat as the camel pushed its weight. Several ticks fell into the dust as a pack of mongooses watched. Some stood upright on hind legs, while others remained low to ground. The camel rubbed again, then folded its legs into the loose soil. Dust covered its face and neck as it rolled onto one side. Its belly twisted against the ground as it kicked and shifted around. The mongooses moved back whenever the large legs came too close nearby. They noticed something falling from the camel's body during the rolling action. When the rolling finally stopped, the exhausted camel lay with its muzzle. Its breathing was heavy, but steady, as ticks still covered the face. Only a small number had been dislodged from the neck and shoulders. One dark tick moved across the dust near the camel's large jaw. A juvenile mongoose saw it first, rushed forward, and swallowed the parasite. Two adults immediately searched the same patch of ground for more food. Another tick fell from the camel's neck when the skin twitched slightly. This time, 3 mongooses raced toward it to claim the fallen meal. The quickest animal claimed it before the others could arrive at spot. The pack was not trying to help the camel with its infestation. The fallen parasites were simply food for the hungry pack of mongooses. Hard ticks feed on blood and remain firmly attached to protected areas. Around the eyes, ears, and throat, the camel could not remove them. Rubbing and rolling dislodged only a few of the many attached parasites. For the mongooses, even those few created a concentrated feeding opportunity nearby. Most of the pack stayed on the ground, searching beneath the neck. They searched around the tree roots and across the disturbed, dry dust. They also found beetles and other small insects exposed by the movement. But one young mongoose began approaching the large camel itself very cautiously. A swollen tick was visible on the lower neck of the camel. The juvenile moved closer while the camel remained still on the ground. It stopped each time an ear flicked, then reached the front leg. A small exposed tick sat inside a shallow fold of the skin. The mongoose gripped it and pulled until the parasite detached very quickly. The juvenile swallowed it before an adult could steal the prize away. Higher on the shoulder, the infestation was much heavier, with dense clusters. The juvenile placed its front paws against the leg and began climbing. Its claws caught in coarse hair and wrinkled skin as it climbed. Its body stayed close to the camel while the tail provided balance. No other mongoose followed, as the camel was still tired from rubbing. For several seconds, it tolerated the contact as the mongoose reached shoulder. The mongoose removed another small tick and then moved towards the camel's neck. One moderately swollen parasite protruded from a fold below the large ear. The juvenile braced one paw beside it and pulled, but it stayed. The mongoose changed its angle and tried again while adults waited below. They were ready to seize the parasite if it fell to ground. The juvenile pulled a third time, and the tick began to loosen. Then the camel opened its eye wider, and its head lifted suddenly. The neck shifted beneath the mongoose, and one ear flicked very sharply. Then the movement threw the mongoose off balance, and the parasite slipped. It bounced down the shoulder as the adults rushed toward the spot. The juvenile scrambled down the front leg and jumped into the dust. The camel pushed its body upright as the entire pack scattered away.